Hello my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to another Monday mindfulness video. Happy 2024 to you all as well. I thought I would do an update on this video as it is the one that from my Monday mindfulness playlist I genuinely get the most questions, comments, messages, even emails about. So obviously there's a lot of us out there that experience Globus sensation, are looking for relief and maybe just some support and comfort. So that is what this video is about. It is also an update on my own experience with it and things I would change from maybe what I talked about in the last video. If you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Lesley. I mainly post fashion and lifestyle content. However, I'm really passionate about mental health and have created this playlist to discuss more mindful subjects. So first of all, I'm just going to briefly discuss Globus sensation. Oh, this hair is driving me bananas. Globus sensation, what I experienced it to feel like, and just to reassure you that you are not going crazy, there's not something seriously wrong, and you're certainly not alone with it. So my Globus sensation, basically, I'm going to use the past tense because I don't experience it as much, which I want to, give hope and comfort to those who are still suffering. It's not to say I never have it, but it used to feel like this very tight ball or lump in the middle of my throat pressing on my throat, and it is a symptom that makes you feel very panicked, very uncomfortable. It's not painful, but it's certainly a stressful thing to feel, and I think the problem is your body then starts reacting to that anxiety and it intensifies it only further. So if you have been to your doctor, if they are unsure, they can't explain it, if they've suggested you go to a gastroenterologist or, the camera and all that, don't worry, I have been there. I didn't end up going through with an endoscopy because I had started to realise that this wasn't something that was necessarily physically wrong, but actually I was suffering from health anxiety and moreover actually OCD, which I didn't realise that I had until 2022. Am I right? Or 2023? About a year ago anyway. So that is the first thing I'd want to mention in this video, and I'm absolutely not trying to diagnose anyone at all, but if you are finding that you are symptom checking a lot, maybe you're Googling a lot, you're searching for relief, you're searching for the answer, are you hyper aware of sensations in your body, it is maybe worth discussing with a therapist, with a psychologist, with a psychiatrist, with your doctor, just to rule out whether you do have OCD or health anxiety, both, or a combination. So for me, I have OCD and I now understand the pattern and the thought cycles it creates, and I'm able to understand it more and therefore deal with it better. That's the thing is with OCD and health anxiety, the goal should not be to get it to go away, it's just to be comfortable with it being there. So I'm going to go into a wee bit more detail of what I mean by that in this video. So since my last video on this, I actually have learned a lot about OCD, health anxiety and our bodies and how anxiety presents itself physically. And I think in the last video, I was encouraging those who have this to probably distract from it, which isn't necessarily the best way forward for everyone, and particularly if you do have OCD or health anxiety, whilst you want to still get on with life and do everything, don't let it stop you doing anything. But I think I had to shift from trying to do things to distract myself from it versus just getting on with life and not specifically doing anything to get away from this uncomfortable sensation. Does that make sense? Because that's the key shift I think you need to make. And there's a quote that's to do with like health anxiety and Globus sensation, if you will. It's basically wear it like an uncomfortable coat. Try, and this is not something that happens overnight, you have to try and be okay with it being there. And over time, because you're going to react less to it, it will reduce, but you can't have the goal of it reducing being your aim, if that makes sense. try and embrace it. So whenever I do experience Globus sensation from time to time, I also have a sensory-motor OCD, which means I can become hyper aware, mainly of my breathing. It can be really random silly things as well, like suddenly feeling my tongue like in my mouth, or what's the other one I have? Swallowing. Sometimes people have like hyper awareness of swallowing and they feel like, gosh, I'll never stop swallowing, I'll never stop noticing my swallowing. I have that with breathing, and actually I find it comes in tandem with the Globus sensation. So I'm like, my God, there's a ball at my throat and I'm paying attention to my breathing. But I just try to wear it now and be like, okay, I've become aware of this, or this is here. I don't like it. It's not ideal, but it's not going to actually stop me from doing anything. And that is the attitude you have to try and start building. Don't get me wrong, I'm still working on it. I am still building that mindset. And there's some days it still makes me panicked and anxious, but it has overall made me look at things more clearly. And I hope that makes sense, and I hope that does not frighten anyone, because I think it can sound like, oh my God, but I just want it to go away, I want it to stop. And I know, honestly, I've been there and I still am there some days. But the best way forward is just to accept that it's uncomfortable, accept it's not what you would choose, but you can still do all the things you want to do. And specifically, if you feel like, oh my God, I've got Globus sensation, I'm too anxious, I don't want to go out, I don't want to see this person, I don't want to go to work, I want to lie in bed all day. That's where you have to say, no, I'm going to get on with what I'm doing. And it is to some degree distraction, but you're not deliberately trying to distract yourself, you're just wearing it as an uncomfortable coat. I should have said, of course, I am absolutely not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, not a psychologist. So I think it's something you definitely want to chat over with someone else, and then make sure that you have spoken to your doctor. But if it sounds like what I've described, then more than likely you're experiencing Globus sensation, particularly if you notice that it's accompanied with anxiety. The other thing that within I guess health anxiety and OCD, reassurance is something that is basically not encouraged, and not allowed, but as in like, you don't want to provide, someone with OCD wants to constantly check and make sure something isn't going to happen, or xxx. So I don't want to necessarily provide reassurance to you if you're experiencing Globus sensation, because that's not the way that is best treated. That being said, I do want to provide some comfort and hope that this is very manageable. It's not dangerous, it's uncomfortable, boy oh boy, it's uncomfortable, but you can still get on with everything that you're doing. So as this is a subject I am so passionate about, please feel free to comment, message me, and I will do my very best to help. As I said, I am not a therapist and I am not a doctor, but I really truly understand the anxiety, panic, discomfort, upset it can make you feel. And I've very much been there and still am some days. It's not to say I never experience it, but I feel I have changed my relationship with it. To be honest, because my breathing OCD is worse. So I'm like, oh God, Globus sensation is fine. And I guess that's the attitude eventually I'm aiming to adopt with any anxiety symptoms, whether it's palpitations, whether it's a shortness of breath, whether it's a chest pain, etc. Like, believe me, I've experienced them all, so you're certainly not alone if you're in that category as well. But I hope this has been somewhat helpful. Please let me know any further videos if you would like on this subject. I do feel like I'm going to open up a bit more and explain my OCD journey, my diagnosis, my symptoms, but it's something that, to be honest, is still very raw for me. 2023 was not a good year for me OCD wise, and that's putting it lightly. And I've learned so much about the disorder and so much about the treatment for it, but I'm still very much in an OCD recovery at the minute. And I think because for so long I was not diagnosed with it, so I had no idea why I was so anxious all the time. And I did numerous things. Like, there was a video I did when I stopped drinking for a month because I thought it's alcohol. Alcohol is making me so anxious. And whilst alcohol isn't necessarily the best thing, it didn't get rid of my anxiety. So I have learned a lot. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up just now, but thank you so much for watching. Please take care, everyone. Sending you so much love if you're dealing with this. Send me any messages or comments, and yeah, just look after yourself. Bye now.